Hey guys, Justin here. I am super excited. I'm about to do something that I've been planning for the last year and putting together for the last little while. And it's something that is really cool. I'm gonna be doing a self-supported canoe trip. I did the shuttle by myself, and everything you see behind me right here, this is everything that I brought and that I'm gonna be using for this trip. I just got to the start where I'm gonna put in the canoe. I started 20 kilometers downstream in the town of Cochrane, and then I used this bike, this e-bike from Rad Power Bikes, to bike all the way up to here. And then I'm gonna use the canoe that's in that bag right there in order to get down the river. So I'm gonna be putting in just downstream of the dam over there on that rocky shoal, and then I'm gonna be heading downstream through here. You can see that the water is moving quite well. I have used the canoe with the bike in it a couple times already, and it was pretty good, but there's always a risk factor when you're on the water, especially when you're by yourself. Let's head to the put in, then I'll show you the gear a little bit more, and then we'll get on the water. So I got the canoe all blown up. You can see it's a fairly big canoe. This can easily fit 2 people, as well as gear that they need for an overnight trip. I'm gonna be using it as a solo person, so I'm gonna be sitting in that middle seat there and then putting the bike in the back. And the fact that it's a folding bike makes all the difference, because I can fold it up and it fits perfectly in the back of this canoe. But we'll talk about the gear a little bit more once we get to the campsite for the night. I'm gonna be camping on an island about halfway towards my takeout, and we're gonna get the canoe loaded up, and we're gonna see how I do going into these rapids and this moving water. Here we go. Let's get this show on the road. All right, here comes the first little taste of some Whitewater. Looks shallow to the right there, so we're gonna cut left. But try also not to get smashed into that wall. Some more moving water. Looks shallow to the right again, so we'll cut left. One of the things I was kind of worried about this canoe, especially with the weight in the back and how maneuverable it is keeping it straight when I need to punch something or make a move in Whitewater. But it's not too bad. I think good J stroke and you're all set. You might have noticed it's a bit hazy, and that's the wildfires from California. The smoke is actually blowing all the way up to Canada and Alberta here, so that's pretty crazy. Actually, we're coming up to some rapids, so I'm gonna make a move here. Get into this eddy before we get over there, because I just want to take a look at it a little bit. You can see it behind me, a little rapid there. I just want to, still testing the water, so I want to see what I'm getting myself into. So I've just pulled over here, a bit of a more intense rapid than we've seen so far, so just scouting it out a little bit. I think I see the line kind of to the right there, but you also don't want to get pushed into the shore. I think there's some sharp rocks over there, so not ideal in an inflatable boat. So scouting it out, we're gonna get in, ferry across, and then shoot this rapid. Up there, let's sneak left. Charge left. Around this stuff. Here we go. All right. That was fun. That was exciting. Whew. Just made a really good decision. As you're going to see in a second, I decided to take the right channel Whereas on the left channel there, a little bit of a route. And that's something you have to be aware of if you're canoeing these rivers in Alberta, is they get really braided and they change every year. During flood season, the rivers move and change, and the river can be one way one year, and then the next year, especially after a big flood like we had in 2013, can be completely different. You can have strainers and trees and you can have a ton of different hazards. You just got to be aware of it. If you pick the wrong channel, it could be very dangerous for you. Wasn't quite sure where the best spot to go would be. As you can see, it's just one giant shallow band across the river. Luckily, this boat actually has pretty shallow draft, so I just kind of bounced through there, not really a problem. But a regular canoe, that'd be a sketchy spot. I'd probably potentially walk the canoe around on the shore. The boat actually gets going pretty good. For an inflatable, it can move. And one thing I really like about it is the way that the bottom of the hull is designed is that you can put it on edge. So if I'm leaning a bit to the left right now, I can put it on edge, and the edge acts as a keel, and then I can just kind of pump it. So even solo, I can get going pretty good and not have to J stroke too much. Really nice feature that I didn't really know about until I started using it. We're actually getting up to the island that I'm going to be camping at. So this is Wildcat Island. I'm going to be camping on the downstream end of it. So we're going to hit these rapids, and then we'll get to the end and find a campsite. Woo! You can see the sign right over there for the natural area. Let's go check it out. Here we go. Good day. Let's get unloaded, pull the canoe up, and then go check out the campsite. All right, got the bike and canoe all taken care of over there. Let's go check out this campsite. So you can tell this gets some good use. There's a rake over there if you want to rake up your spot. So we'll see. Maybe I'll set my tent up over there. It's a beautiful table, good fire pit, some firewood, which is really nice of people to leave. And you can hear the river. And the coolest thing I think I've ever come across at a campsite check this out. Can you believe it? Ladder ball, backcountry campsite. It's definitely a little bit of a cushy spot. Guys, I'm in such a good mood. That canoe, getting out on the water, there's just something so amazing about getting out on the water. So what a day, what a good day. So peaceful. And I don't think I've ever done a solo canoe trip before. So this is a very new experience for me, but I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. I'm gonna set my tent up just over there. Really nice flat spot. And then I want to talk about the boat and the bike a little bit more, because I think they're really cool products and I just want to give you a little bit more information. There's some little things about them that I think you'll find very interesting that I'm going to talk about. So I've got camp all set up. You can see it's the mountain cattle teepee tent. So I've never used a teepee tent before, but this thing was super easy to set up. I threw it up in probably a minute and a half. Really nice. And it's a little bit more spacious than I thought it would be. So you can see I have my Etherlite XT sleeping pad in there, my Enlighten Equipment Enigma 20 quilt, and then I have a new pillow up there, the Hike Ensure pillow that I'm testing out, and enough room for all my gear. Lots of room. I could have a second person here, no problem. I could put my gear over there and they could lay down over here. You could probably even fit 3 people in this tent. It's pretty big. But let's go down to the water, take a little bit of a view here, and then we can check out the bike and canoe a little bit more. So let's start with the bike first. And full disclosure, Rad Power Bikes did send me this bike for free, but they had reached out to me a year ago and offered me a bike, and I said, no, it's not gonna fit on my channel. I don't really see how I'm gonna use it. So I turned them down. I said no to a $2,000 bike, and all my friends made fun of me, and my family was like, what are you doing? But fast forward 6 months, and I was putting together some trips, and I was looking at the logistics of it, and I wanted to do some canoe trips and self-supported canoe trips where I needed to figure out a shuttle and I didn't want to rely on friends. So I was looking at using a bike for that scenario, as well as some hikes I was doing where I wanted to drop a bike off or some sort of transportation at one end and then hike to that point and then bike back to my car. And I started thinking, I started looking, and the Rad Power e-bikes kind of came back to mind, and that's why I reached out to them. And once I took a look at their offerings and saw they had a folding fat e-bike, I was like, okay, I gotta get that. And I looked at the measurements, and I figured out that could probably fit in most canoes, which is really awesome, and one of the big selling features of this bike for me, because I can fit it into the Innova Vagabond canoe here that I have. So this is an inflatable canoe. There's not a lot of inflatable canoes out there. There's a lot of inflatable kayaks, but I really wanted a canoe. I wanted something that had seats and operated like a canoe, and that's what this does, and it's awesome. It does it very, very well. It only weighs 35 pounds, so when I'm biking with the canoe on my back, it doesn't weigh too much. It definitely weighs a lot, but definitely manageable. And I think I'm gonna get a rear rack for the bike, and then I can hopefully put the canoe bag on that. I did pay for the canoe out of my own pocket, but after having used it, not a problem. This thing is awesome. I would have actually bought the bike with my own money now that I've had a chance to use it, because it's been phenomenal for me. Like I said, I use it for a whole bunch of different trip purposes, activities, as well as just book it around town. That being said, both the bike and the canoe are quite affordable compared to a lot of the other offerings on the market. Rad Power Bikes make some of the most affordable e-bikes. This one costs $2,000 Canadian, so quite a bit less American, and that's really affordable for an e-bike, especially one that's so well put together. And then the canoe here costs under $1,000 US. So that's cheaper than a regular canoe that you would get. So that's kind of my thought process and why I ended up with both of these products. If you have any questions about either of these, let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'm gonna go start a fire, get cooking, and we're gonna have a really nice, relaxing night tonight. And then tomorrow we have more canoeing, more rapids, and we'll see just how well this thing can handle. I think I'm gonna be a little bit more risky tomorrow with the big rapids. I'll try and get right through those big wave trains, maybe try a little bit more maneuvers just to kind of really put this whole system through its paces. It's time to eat. I'm gonna be checking out the Peak Refuel Chicken Pesto Pasta. I've heard amazing things about this, so I just ordered it on Amazon. Test out. I'm starving, so the 920 calories that's in this thing is gonna be really, really well deserved and tastes delicious. Got my BRS stove here, Toast titanium pot, so gonna get this boiled up and then have some dinner. So all done cooking. What just blew my mind about this was it says to use 2/3 of a cup of water. And I've read that Peak Refuel doesn't take a lot of water, but that seemed pretty crazy to me. So I put a little bit more, but now it's a little bit too watery. So they're on, and that's actually nuts, because most backpacking meals like this usually take about like 400 to 500 mils, which is like a couple cups of water. So 2/3 is awesome. Probably finished about half of this, and it is delicious. The hype is not wrong with the chicken pesto pasta. Oh, this is one of the best meals I've had in a while. If you're interested, I'll post a link in the video description with a link to where I picked it up on Amazon. You can check that out because definitely recommend this. Just gonna enjoy this little fire I got going here. Then head to bed in the tent. We'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning, guys. Had a great sleep. Good time around the campfire last night. I also explored the entire island. I was the only one here, which is super cool. Just getting everything packed up. As you can see, took my tent down already, packing everything up into this 40-liter dry bag that I picked up on Amazon for less than $40. So that was a really sweet find and does exactly what I need it to do. It can fit in the canoe really easily as well as on the front rack of the bike. So once we get everything packed up, we're gonna go hit the river. We'll see what happens again today. Yesterday, things went pretty smoothly. I don't think the rapids are that crazy today, but you never know. There's some unexpected stuff yesterday, and hopefully I don't get into a jam today. We'll find out. And hopefully with the sun, get some really nice views at the same time. If I do dump and get into an incident, then you'll get a front row seat with some good sunshine. What a beautiful day. Lucked out with the smoke. Pretty much non-existent haze right now. Just a beautiful sunny day on the water. Getting into a little bit of rapids up here, so. Nothing too crazy. This is good. Easy way to start off the morning. Look at that view. Guys, I can't express how happy I am. If you've never gone on canoe trips, I highly recommend it. A lot of places, they'll rent you a canoe. Just find a nice, easy flowing river. You don't even have to go very far. Just go a few kilometers, camp out. Just being by the water is very nice. It's very relaxing. See that tree leaning over there? That tree is eventually going to be a very dangerous tree. Once that bank erodes enough that the tree falls into the water, it's going to turn into what we call a strainer. So as it's laying across the water, it becomes very dangerous because if you're out of your boat, or even if you're in your boat, you can get caught up in that tree. And a lot of people have drowned and died because of those kind of features on the water. Thanks for coming on this trip with me, guys. That was a ton of fun. I'm gonna be just pulling out in town over here and then taking the car and heading home. So thanks a lot again, and we'll see you on the next one.